Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be interviewing a very special guest. She is one of the great scream queens of the 1980s. I had a huge crush on her growing up. Lar Park Lincoln. I have to say her name slowly because if I say it fast, then my lisp gets in the way. I'm going to have her on the show today. You may remember her from Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, House 2, The Second Story, and of course, she had a recurring role for a few years on Knots Landing. And I'm having her on the show today. She's an amazing woman. She's been a cancer survivor. She teaches an acting studio in Dallas, Texas, where she's from. And she's just had an amazing career in life. And I'm going to have her on the show today, and I can't wait. And it's going to be the biggest thrill for me. I've been trying to get her for a long time on the show. So yeah, here is my interview with Lar Park Lincoln. Hi, Lar.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Oh, this is such an honor. I had a huge crush on you growing up.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean those Meg Foster eyes you have are very captivating.
Oh, now I will take that compliment for Meg Foster eyes. Have you gotten to see her in the last few years? Have you gotten to talk with her?
Unfortunately, not yet.
I tell you, she's mesmerizing. Mesmerizing person. And she's also very sensitive to light and sound, which I am too. So we always bond when we're at a big convention, and there's so much going on. And one of my students did a film that she was in the summer before last called 3 Days in August, where she was playing this, this kind of alcoholic, druggy, dying relative, coming into the picture, at the end kind of thing, with Mariette Hartley and Brian Bosworth also.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, any reference to Meg Foster or Karen Black or Jessica Lange, I'll take any of them.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Oh, my God. So you're from Texas.
Well, I am. I was an Army brat, so I lived everywhere. My children were born in L.A., so I consider L.A. home, and Texas. I have, my family is here in Texas, so both. But my daughter lives in Europe, so we're everywhere.
I've interviewed a lot of horror actresses from Texas, and I have found them to be very hospitable, very welcoming, and they love it when I tell dirty jokes.
We pretty much do. Of course, we don't act like it, but yeah, I think we're a pretty sociable group around here, I think.
I have one for you at the end of the show.
Oh, super. Okay.
So,
the dirtiest joke I ever heard was told to me by Joan Van Ark on Not Standing, but I won't repeat that one.
Oh, you can swear all you want on the show.
Oh, no. Joan would kill me if I ever told that one.
Is that bad?
Just awful. You'll just have to trust me.
Okay. So, you were born Laurie Park, and Lincoln was your married name, but why didn't you go by Laurie Park Lincoln?
Oh, well, it was really pretty simple. It wasn't a big conscious change. I never used the name. It was Laurie with an A, and everyone called me Laurie. And I couldn't stand it because it was L-A-U-R-I. It was Laurie. And I spent so much time trying to get people to say it correctly. So when it just got shortened to Lar from everyone going on along, and I never even thought anything about it. And so I was Lar Park, and then I got married and added Lincoln to the end. In fact, today, my late husband and I would have been married 37 years today.
Oh.
So it's pretty cool. My son was married this last summer,
Mm-hmm.
And he is wearing his father's wedding ring. So 37 years later, I put it on his son's finger, for his wedding. So sentimental around here.
Yeah, that's beautiful, though.
Yeah, it's cool.
So did you know growing up that you wanted to be an actress?
Immediately, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I had completely made a decision by third grade, but I pretty much knew prior. I'm always so surprised when people say they don't know what they want to do as a baseline goal or achievement, because I did. So I think that's one thing I love about coaching, career coaching, is that I'm able to help them hone in on an area. And, today you don't have to do one thing. Today you can do many things, different things, change jobs. It doesn't have to be set in stone. You just have to have a goal and go towards it. And I wrote a letter of paper in third grade that said I was going to act, model, and write. And was not well received by the teacher. She thought it was ridiculous. And, you know how that story goes. You just show them anyway.
Yeah. So I take it you did community theater and plays in school?
Yes, I did plays in school. That's about all you could do, when you're traveling as a kid at that time. And I did plays all the way up through school. And then in my early college years in Los Angeles, I also did, Agnes of God and The Burning Bed were two that I really loved, really strong plays. But my focus really shifted to film and TV because I love all the technical aspects of it so much. I just love all sides of the camera. So that's really a passion,
Mm-hmm. After high school, where did you go train for acting?
L.A. Well, I did a little in Dallas, and then I was in L.A. in my teens. And as they say, L.A. is so big I couldn't get arrested.
Yeah.
I came home and trained for several more years and went back again and found my great coaches out there, some of which I'm still very close to. And then that was that. So, yeah, it really was 10 years to the overnight success. It really is.
Yeah.
Right?
What year did you move to LA?
Well, the first time it was probably 79.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 81, maybe 84, back and forth. Yeah. So I lived in Japan for a little bit modeling. I was told I was too short to model in the States, but they loved me in Japan, and then shorter models started popping up everywhere in the States. So it ended up working out just fine. So tell everyone, you can do things people say you cannot do. Yes, you can.
Yeah, it took me 33 years to figure that out.
Do you think that was because a friend and family had put those ideas in your head, or what? Why do you think that?
A car accident saved me.
Oh. How did it save you?
Because I didn't have any confidence in myself. I wasted too much time having fun and just, feeling sorry for myself, and the accident just saved me, and I've been pursuing my dream for almost 3 years now.
Wow, and you've done so well with that. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. There's more to come.
Yeah, no, that sounds like you are really getting it done. That is terrific.
Mm-hmm.
That is terrific.
I'm very blessed.
That is so good. Where do you live?
At the moment, I'm living up in Redding, California, but I'm originally from San Francisco.
Oh, okay, yes. That's not in Redding, but in San Francisco, which I love, and I lived in San Diego. I never lived in Redding, but I think
you're lucky.
Pretty nice. What?
I said you're lucky. You've never lived in Redding.
No, but I was on a lot of military bases as a teen and child. Those can be awfully beige, too, but I love them.
Yeah.
I really did. I spoke Vietnamese as a child because my father I had older parents and I have older siblings.
Right.
So I was like the last little thought about type of surprise. And I mean, 10 years after the last house. And so my father was in World War II, and he was in Vietnam, Korea. And when he was in Vietnam, they had to do at the time immersion Vietnamese training, and so that they could go. You know, it was crazy. And since I was so young, I was like 5, I was able to learn the language and be able to speak with the overseas operator, you know, to my mother and do some things. But it was strange because I had this, you know, white blonde hair, and I was running around the neighborhood speaking Vietnamese during the Vietnam War. So my mother didn't really like that too much. It terrified her. Made me stop. She made me stop speaking it, actually. It just became, no, you will not speak that. And then I got a role on Tour of Duty, which was a TV series.
Right.
And I got to speak Vietnamese. What the heck? How lucky was that to go on that audition? Like, got it.
I know, you sure showed her.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I can't speak any other language at all. So I'm very proud that one time in my life I could speak something besides blonde, coach, and bitch.
That's awesome.
I'm really proud of myself. My daughter speaks languages, not me.
Yeah. So your first role, according to IMDb, was in a TV movie of the week called Children of the Night.
Yeah.
And you got to work with Kathleen Quinlan, who's one of my favorite actresses.
Oh, mine too. Boy, did she teach me the ropes. She really did. That movie, you know, that was my 10-year, you know, that was basically my 10-year route. I was in the union with that film and had an amazing role playing a true girl's life story. And I was playing her from 14 to 16. And Kathleen was playing the woman who, and Mario Van Peebles was in that film too.
Right.
My pimp. I mean, it was a pretty awesome deal. And Kathleen, she loves macadamia nuts, by the way, and pistachios are her favorite. And she was wonderful. She taught me so many things about how to concentrate on the set and you know, keep focused, especially if you have to cry and you have to do these things that you want to organically do. So I really appreciate her so much for that. It was wonderful. It was a terrific way to really get started.
Yeah, I've met her husband, Bruce Abbott, at conventions, and yeah, he agrees too that she's a very underrated actress. And
yeah,
I just found out she's going to be making her convention debut at Texas Frightmare next spring.
No way. Oh,
yep.
My God. Get out. I would just die to go see her. Oh, my word. That is so thrilling.
Yep.
So thrilling. Wow. Super. Well, maybe there's some way I can send her a note or something.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. Oh, thanks for giving me that juicy little tidbit.
Oh, of course. I love her haircut in the movie. She looks like a tomboy.
Oh, in the Children of the Night film?
Yeah.
You know, that was quite a bonus contention then, also, because the woman that is Lois Lee that she played that started the organization Children of the Night, which was to help child prostitution. She had shoulder-length, blonde, curly hair. And the director wanted Kathleen to wear that wig and wear that hair. And Kathleen, I remember this, and was just refusing. She had that short, funky, cool cut.
Yeah.
And I remember I remember the battle and some conversations and her just really sticking to her guns. I don't know why she didn't want to put on the exact look as Lois Lee, but she did a fabulous job, and I loved that the hair was strong. And, yeah, I learned from that, too. I learned from deciding what you're going to do and trying to stick to conventions also. So,
right.
Pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then you did the classic sex comedy, The Princess Academy.
Oh, yes. Well, in Yugoslavia.
I'm Croatian.
Oh, my God. What, did you say you're Croatian?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. Have you been there ever?
No, I don't even know much about it. And when I first started doing stand-up comedy, I tried to joke about being Croatian, and like no one ever got it.
They're like, yeah, they don't know. And it was so many little countries. Of course, now it's even changed more. Very gracious country, but really hard to work in. You talk about cold.
Yeah.
And my characters either don't have a coat or they don't wear clothes. So in the snow, we didn't have the SAG union protections like we do in the States. So there were no dressing wagons or our own individual dressing rooms.
Yeah.
In the ice cold snow, in real castles that have no central heat or air, of course.
Right.
And all of that was crazy. And it was fun. It was a long shoot there, and it just became this fun cult followed film. It gave me a lot of good stories. And my daughter just starred in a film called The Barn, and she was shooting in France on that one, and that one went fine. And then she started shooting another film in Portugal.
Right.
And it was a nightmare. I mean, this was just this last summer. And I'm like, Piper, it's your Yugoslavia. You've got your talk show story forever. And she's like, thanks, Mom. I need to leave now. She loved the country, but it was a very difficult shoot. So sometimes traveling around the world to shoot is not as glamorous as it seems, but that's okay.
Yeah. The movie, to me, is just hilariously wrong. And there's some great lines like, I got herpes. Me too.
And I'm working with Ava Gabor.
Right.
I have now done projects with both Gabor sisters, which is, I think, is an hysterical piece of trivia.
Yeah.
And, that film is speaking with Ava and Bruce Block, who was a great director. He would bribe us to do one more take with American M&Ms.
Mm-hmm.
The chocolate was really bitter there, and it was so cold. And you have to think of something. I don't know how he did it. And I'd be doing a scene with Ava, and there's one scene she kind of goes off into a story, and some of it was the story, and I kind of glanced at Bruce, and his eyes are just saying, go with the story. And I'm like, go with her story. It was so much fun. And on the third day, I had a leading man in that show, and he hurt his back. And they didn't recast him. We shot around him.
Oh my God!
It was the whole story. So how did we do that?
Was he okay by the time it was over?
Well, it was the only time in my entire life that I've ever punched someone in the stomach.
Oh.
And that would have been the executive producer during the last week, trying to insist I work another set of basically 12 hours on top of a 16-hour day in the snow, and I caught a horrible, horrible cold, of course, and by the time we got to Zagreb, and he came to my door, a very big, big man, like 6'6" or something, banging on my hotel door. I just opened the door and punched him in the stomach.
Oh, my God.
I have never, ever hit or done that to anyone. It is not my style, but again, he's so big, I don't think he even knew it. He's so tall, but I did not continue shooting another 12 hours on top of 16. So.
Wow. What was it like working with Carol Davis?
It was fun, although I haven't talked to her in 500 million years. She's a smart little cookie. What's she up to?
I have no idea, but I actually met an actor who worked with her once, and he said in his 50 years of acting, she was the most difficult actress he ever worked with.
Because she had to work in Yugoslavia. Some people never recovered.
Or do that movie Mannequin.
Yeah, I read for that. Yeah, I was up for Mannequin.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all of us read for everything, so it's really fun when we see someone that gets something else or something else. Yeah.
Oh, they could have so done a good job on your eyes for the Mannequin. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. Yeah, that would have been really cool.
Mm-hmm.
A fun story about Sydney Princess Academy was we had shot all over Yugoslavia at a time where it was really under socialism, and where there's like 2 bars of soap. That there's not like an economy where you go shopping and buy things. There's just really nothing to choose from.
Right.
And we were paid in a denomination called dinar, which we couldn't even take out of the country. It was worth nothing. So we got our payback in the States in American dollars, and we had our per diem paid in this dinar, fake monopoly money at the time. And when we were checking into the final place after the most unbelievable locations for weeks on end, we checked into the beautiful Zagreb, which was like the main city area, and we're checking into a real hotel that had hot water, like when you turned the faucet. It was unusual. And standing next to me at the check-in was Jane. Okay, I'm losing my brain now. Hold on, I'm losing my brain. John Gielgud and Jane Seymour. Standing next to me, checking in to film one of their fabulous, lifetime movies of the world week, whatever. And it was so much fun standing right next to them. And I'm thinking, I'm in the same hotel, but I bet you've got a better room. That was pretty fun. You just never know what you'll run into in our business.
Yeah. And Lou Leonard, she steals the movie.
Oh, Lou and Richard Paul. Oh, I love him so much. Yeah, I mean, well, we needed something to help us, that's for sure. And it wasn't for lack of talent. One of the problems is we weren't speaking the same language. A lot of the European actors they were learning English phonetically.
Right.
So if something changed, the lines didn't work, right? And we also had an issue with the girls at that time that wouldn't shave under their arms, the extras and stuff. And I remember getting called in and being asked, "You need to go get these girls to shave," and it made us look like harlots. And we're like, "Are you kidding?" But we were all running around in panties and whatnot, and it's like they had to shave. So it was really shooting against all odds, and in that way, it became a film close to my heart just for that. I mean, I grew on it. I learned. I actually got hit with some of the bullets that blow up as I'm running toward the tank. Now, I don't have any clue why I'm in the actual tank in that film. Don't know why we ended up in a tank, a real tank, and it actually caught on fire.
Wow.
And the soldiers that were in there to help us. And it's small inside a tank. Don't know if you've been in one lately, but it's really tiny.
No.
And the soldiers were kind of in there, and they jumped out, yelling at us in Yugoslavian, whatever the language is, to get out. And they climbed out and ran across the bridge. And we're like, "Oh, the tank is smoking. We better climb out." So we're all really trying to climb out of this small area. So, yay, union and real stunt people, that keep it really safe, because they didn't place a lot of the little blow-up things under the ground deep enough. So they really were hitting us at one point when we were running to go to a tank or something.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, crazy, but that's what makes it the career, right?
Right.
I'd rather have these stories than talk about how I had to try to figure out how to type a letter as, a secretary, which my mother did a lot, because I don't type, and I'm terrible at that, and gosh, I don't know what I would do if I hadn't had my mother and assistants help me through all these years, because that wasn't a skill I learned. So I'm glad I have a skill that I know.
I've been typing my whole life. I've been writing scripts since I was 12.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What's your genre? Is it horror or various things?
Oh, yeah, horror, sci-fi. I've done comedy. I've done a lot of stuff and everything. The hardest one that I'm trying to learn how to write now is a Western, but I want to make it original, because so many Westerns have been made, and it's hard to come up with something original for a Western.
Well, now, come on. I mean, so many Star Wars got made, too.
Of course.
and Westerns are tough. I really think they are tough, but I've seen some talent really pulling together in independent ones. We've got some groups here in Texas that do reenactment type things, and you can dig into those really solid stories. You'll find it for sure. You will.
Awesome. Yeah. And then you did House 2, the second story.
Yes.
And
Loved House 1.
This was the first one I saw when I was very little. I like the original the most, but there's some great moments in this one.
Yeah, I loved the first one so much that I was over the moon to get the second one. Mm-hmm. And since it was done differently, I mean, they took them in these different, today it would be like, oh, American Horror Story, different story every season, now a different story every sequel. But they didn't. But still, we had Royal Dano.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As Grandpa, and I believe, and I might be wrong, but I believe that he was the voice of Abraham Lincoln at Disney.
Yes, he was.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get your stories mixed up, but that was so cool. And, that was great. And Ari Gross.
Oh, God. He's the best.
I mean, what a great actor he is. He's just amazing,
Oh, he's great in everything.
Mm-hmm. He's great in everything, and he was such a cool person. Such a cool person. The day I was being called back, you get called back a million times for that particular role. It was like I haven't done Friday the 13th yet, right? That was after. So
yeah,
it's still making the scale. The bottom line of the money you can make. And I had a little blue car. I don't know what kind it is. I don't care about cars, but that's why the story's funny. A little blue car that cost me $300, and I took 2 years to pay for it. And driving in LA in that little car that could barely move was complicated. And the day I got one of the final callbacks on House 2, they were holding it down in the Wilshire, Beverly Hills area, and I lived out in the valley. Mm-hmm. My car broke down. And I called my manager at the time, Lenny Olsheim, and he met me with his car, gave me the keys, and told me to go on. Well, it was a deck. I'm like, you're going to trust me with this car? It's unbelievable. And so I got to drive into that audition in that car. I was a wreck. I just knew I don't know what I thought I was going to do with that car, but I'll never forget that. Driving on the 405, getting to go to that audition, and thankfully the nerves did not affect that final audition, and I still got the part because sometimes you're just a wreck.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I can't believe Bill Maher is in the movie.
Oh, and he wears a pink tie. Isn't that just the cutest thing?
Yeah.
I know, and he was a comedian, then too. I mean, he's an actor, but he was a very sarcastic kind of lean comedian type of person. He was interesting to work with. I didn't spend a lot of time with him really. Our scenes we had a few scenes together. Mm-hmm. I guess we did. Yeah, we could. I feel like we did some on the phones and some in real life, but that was fun. Yeah. And yeah. Amy
Yazbek. Oh God, that's so sad. What happened to John Ritter?
I know. Oh, I know. Amy. Oh, it was just heartbreaking. And yeah, she was really special too. I mean, they did a good job pulling everyone together with that. And Kane was the stunt person in that.
Yep, he sure was.
Yeah. So, and I didn't even realize that for a long time that we were, connected by those films. So.
Yeah, it's ironic too that John Ratzenberger is in it because George Wendt was in the first one.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And that's the Caterpuppy, which everybody loves more than anything. And a fan at an appearance I did recently in Syracuse gave me little pins that were the Caterpuppy. And it was just the cutest thing. It's like the cutest thing. Everybody loves that little Caterpuppy. So I was so grateful for him because now I can have them to have for my fans.
Nice.
Yeah, right? Easily fall in love with.
Yeah, and I had no idea Jonathan Stark went on to produce Ellen DeGeneres' sitcom that Ari was on.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, I didn't know that. Wow, you are fantastic with the stuff you come up with. The trivia is fantastic. I did not know that. And I'm like Jonathan, too. I didn't know if he had kept acting or had done different things. So he's gone, he went the production way probably, and who knows? I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen him since that time. great. That's fantastic. Give me some more trivia. I need some more about me, and then I'll update my IMDb.
Oh.
Well, it's impossible to update your IMDb. They'll never listen to you, and they won't do anything you say, but
Yeah.
I can try to add some trivia.
Okay, let's get to Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood.
Okay.
Now, the Jason franchise has always been my go-to horror franchise. I love Freddy, but Jason was my guy growing up. I personally think the series jumped the shark after 6, but you're one of the several bright spots of 7.
Oh, thank you so much. It was one of my favorite movies too. So when I got the script, that was titled a fake name for the auditions, we were able to figure out that it was Friday 13th. I didn't know that it was on the first few auditions when I went in. And, that they've tried to bring in the Carrie franchise and all of that crazy stuff. And I loved it. So, I had a ball. It was hard. It was easy. It was hard to shoot that stuff, even though it might not look like it.
Yeah.
I had a really good time on that film. And John Beekler, the director, still a good friend. Kevin Blair Spiritus is a dear friend of mine now. And we really couldn't stand each other when we shot the film. And years later, we've become very, very close friends. I just love him. So thank goodness the world keeps spinning. Correct things, hopefully.
Yeah. Another crush of mine is in the movie, Diana Barrows. And my catchphrase on the show, Totally Radical, is from her in the movie My Mom's a Werewolf.
Oh, My Mom's a Werewolf. I don't remember that one.
She did it right after this. She plays a horror movie fangirl. She's probably like the first fangirl ever that got exploited on film in the late 80s.
Oh, my word, I didn't know that.
Yeah. She's so adorable in that movie, and I've been trying to get an interview with her for the last year, but she's been in Europe and traveling a lot.
Yeah. I feel like I saw her within the last year. I remember catching up with her a little bit. You know who I loved, who I saw in House 2, and I don't even know if people know this so much, but Jane Modine played the girlfriend maid in the closet character that was popping out. Okay. Do you know who she was? Jane Modine?
Vaguely, yeah.
Okay. Well, in the 80s, maybe even, probably it was the 70s, because I was fooled. There was a commercial. Jane Modine was a model, and she booked everything. So since I was modeling, I always looked up to the ones ahead of me that, were making great strides. And she had these really, really big eyes and adorable. And there was a commercial for Nair hair removal products. And the commercial went, if you dare wear short shorts, Nair for short shorts. And it was a singing tune, and she's dancing in it. So when I found out that Jane Modine was going to be in our movie, I was over the moon. I was a fan from the commercial.
So you were starstruck.
I was starstruck by the Nair commercial, yes.
Oh, my God.
I know. Hysterical.
Oh, my God.
Starstruck too,
Yeah. Last year, I went to Monsterpalooza in Pasadena, and I met Kane. Oh, my God. So I'm getting Ari Lehman's autograph, right? And
I wish I'd been there.
And Kane pinches his elbow, sneaks up on him, pinches his elbow, and Ari smears his name on my DVD cover. And then Kane goes back to his line, because he had a long-ass line that was like out the door, And I said to Ari, if I don't get to meet Kane this weekend, I'm going to count that as his signature. And then Sunday, I was the second person in his line. I did get to meet him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a great story. Good for that. Man.
Yeah.
Kane is funny, and he likes to do pranks, and I like to do pranks.
Yeah.
Most people don't know I'm a prankster. So we have a lot of fun fun when we travel together and we're appearing together.
Yeah, and then I also met Terry Kaiser. He was there that weekend. Sweet man. He's the very definition of a mensch.
Don't get it.
A mensch is it's a Jewish word. It means man of integrity.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? That is true. And don't you just love the look as he's aged up into his age?
Oh my God, yes.
So beautiful.
He was such a sweet man, and just like you, I impressed him with my knowledge for his career. I brought up stuff he didn't even think anybody remembered.
Oh, I know. We don't. We forget stuff. You know, you're in the moment when you do it, and then you forget. But Terry actually lived in Austin for a brief time. I believe he was in a little colder climate right now, but he lived in Austin for a brief time, and he also coached actors.
Mm-hmm.
So here we both ended up in Texas coaching actors, very different. We had, different types of things, and it was just so exciting. It was so much fun, because, Terry he just becomes every character. He's just like a never ending,
Yeah.
I just love his look as he's just let himself, age, which, come on, people, can we please, age up a little.
He was the sweetest man, I'll tell you.
Yes, he's a very, very kind, soft soul. Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking to his manager about interviewing him next year, so fingers and toes crossed.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank goodness for social media and stuff, because we can reach people.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's good and bad, but I think it's more good because you can actually reach some people, that you wouldn't think you could reach, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Find them again, that's too.
Other than you, though, for this one, I did interview Stacey Greason, who played Billy Butler's girlfriend.
Yes, I remember Stacey. Uh-huh.
Yeah, she was very nice. I think some of my jokes didn't land with her. She was quiet after I would say something funny.
Oh my goodness. Well, that happens.
But she was very nice, though.
Yeah, that's cool. We had a lot of good people on that show. We had some talent at the beginning. I really liked Jonathan Stark and Billy Butler, of course. He's a friend, and he's amazing with what he's done with his career and his jobs and stuff, and so cool with all of it. So.
Mm-hmm. And then you did an episode of Freddy's Nightmares.
Yes, which I call my Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Because I would have done anything for Twilight Zone. When Kathleen Quinlan got in that Twilight Zone movie, I was like, I love Twilight Zone so much. So that's how I felt the Friday the 13th was. And the director who did the director who did Friday Part 6 was my director in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Tom McLaughlin.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his wife and I became friends. And
Nancy.
She played a kind of a creepy little background role in there. She's very funny. And she's redhead. And is she ever a prankster? Good grief. But she's hysterically fun. And that was a really neat thing. I got an offer to do that, and I was so excited and over the moon and loved it. Loved the story. I loved the idea that it was 2 stories in one, and that was super.
Yeah, I'll be interviewing them pretty soon, too.
Oh, good, super. She gave me a really, really, Nancy gave me a really, really pretty, fun Jason necklace that she had made, and she'd made one, and they're harder for Friday 13th 7 because, his mask is eaten away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different mask. So that was great when I got that from her. I now have an artist that makes them, but she made me one special and signed it to me.
My earliest memory of you was on Knots Landing.
Oh, mm-hmm.
I used to watch that with my grandma all the time.
Oh, that sounds painful.
It's funny, I watched everything with her. I watched Dynasty with her, I watched Dallas with her.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would have to say Knots was really a highlight of my career. I don't think I ever had so much fun playing a character and learning how they change your character on series TV, and you don't always know. But you're always second guessing, like, will this thing go with that at all? Because you don't read the script that far in advance. So, do you know I played the dead body on that also?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, me too. Got some trivia you didn't know. Okay, yes. So I was on for 5 years off and on, back and forth. I left and came back.
Mm-hmm.
And the character in the middle was Michelle Lee's daughter-in-law with the brown curly hair, and I wore a wig, and was a humorous comedy role. Actually, she was obnoxious and funny. And then the guy that played my husband, who passed away in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So they pushed that character aside and brought me back as a character who was just a sexy body on a telephone, a mysterious woman. And I did many episodes of that. But then when they were going to reveal my face, and a reveal, they felt I was too young to be having an affair with the Ted Shackleton character. Mm-hmm. And so they then went back and put Penny Peisner in as the reveal, another actress.
Yeah.
And then the next season, they put me with Bill Devane, who's older than God. So it was so much fun. And it was fun being a character that nobody knew. So.
Do you ever get recognized from it?
Not from the body, no. At least it's not from that. Just people that know the trivia of it.
No. Yeah.
I get recognized for my eyes and my voice usually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're out somewhere when my kids were younger. Most of the day would say, "Mom, don't make eye contact with someone." Like, well, honey, I'm walking through Target. Don't make eye contact. I'm like, okay. A few minutes later, she said, "Don't talk. Don't make eye contact. Don't talk." She was like, I don't know, 12. I'm like, Piper, seriously? That was a funny time.
Yeah. So after you took a break, you took a break from acting following your husband's death, and in the process, you were diagnosed with cancer. Did you make a full recovery?
I did, yes.
Thank God.
It was advanced stage 3,
mm-hmm.
and it took 10 years this month. It was 16 surgeries in the first 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I kept working through a lot of it until you're so sick you just can't. And then, luckily you just keep trying to, if you've been able to beat it and been able to contain it, you just keep going until your energy and health comes back. Mm-hmm. And, it's definitely a long haul and not easy for anyone. My husband passed from cancer, and it's a long haul. So that was tough, but it really just, I call myself the luckiest girl in the world. That's the name of my autobiography I've been working on. And because I really do feel incredibly lucky that I've gotten to do so many things, and I don't feel like I've had a lot of really traumatic and things happen around me and to me, but it doesn't feel like it's a curse or like something's against me. So I feel really grateful that I have that attitude. I mean, I don't know where I got that attitude, but I'm glad I have it.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, cancer runs on my dad's side of the family, and mm-hmm. I'm so fortunate that he hasn't caught it. And I know Jules Shepard. She's been struggling with cancer for like 7 years. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it can be brutal. It can be brutal. And yeah, it can. There's just no doubt about that. It can be brutal, and you just have to just keep going until you've dealt with it or taken care of someone with it. It's very hard to understand what the treatments can be like.
Mm-hmm. When did you start teaching acting?
I was actually teaching in Los Angeles, even when I lived there. Mm-hmm. I've always loved auditioning, the art of auditioning, and the process of it. And I moved back to Texas to put my kids in a different school system, in a way, at the time. And I have a sister and brother here. And so I got here, and I'd seen some actors, and I was seeing some auditions people that, and then I started building up a coaching business, and went into studios, and it took off, and I love it. So I've been doing it a long time now.
Wow. Yeah. It seems to me a lot of actors from the 80s, they ended up becoming acting teachers when their careers dried up.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Tom.
No, I don't mean it like that. I just, like, I've interviewed so many people.
Do not get out of that comment.
I've interviewed so many actors from the 80s, and a lot of them are teaching now, you know?
Yeah.
They've been teaching for like 25 years and stuff. I think it's great, you know?
I'm playing with you. It's so funny. I mean, the first time someone said I was on a retro panel, I was like, what's a retro panel? They're like, oh, you know, vintage. I'm like, what? Oh, mid-last century. Got it. Okay. Well, I was 19 for 10 years, so it didn't catch up to me for a while.
19 for 10 years. That's a good way to put it. So,
lucky you're interesting to you.
Yeah, because you're only as old as you feel, they say.
Yeah, unless someone else is looking at you, and then we're like, oh. That's okay. You know, the only good thing about daylight savings time is it gets darker a little earlier.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I go on a date, I really like it to be closer to dinner than lunch. I'm just playing, you know.
That's funny. So, you enjoy doing conventions?
I have really enjoyed it. I had never heard of them. The first time I went to one, didn't even really know what it was. And, you know, getting to meet people that have liked work you've done is a pretty amazing feeling.
Mm-hmm.
At first you're like, oh, I'm signing autographs. I don't, like, what is this? I didn't get it. And then I just didn't understand it or know why I was in that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started meeting more and more people. Some people that I really love going and meeting people that want to be actors, of course, because I can talk to them about that. And sometimes I can teach a class when I'm doing a convention, which I love. And the piece of fans and the stories of what other people have gone through, and they'll say, like, you know, maybe this show or this show got them through a certain time period or whatever, and you realize, you know, you may have done one little thing, but it did affect people in a different bubble, and that is really an interesting feeling to me. And one of my very first conventions, there was an actress who had a whole table of photos from movies and TV she'd done forever.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, wow, I want a table full of all of those different shows. And then, you know, a few years back, I realized I had enough for several tables. I'm like, okay, cool, Matt, you know. So.
Yeah, I started going to conventions 2 years ago, and I'm just hooked on them now because I wasn't aware of how the convention circuit was either now.
Right.
And yeah, I'm just hooked on them. I mean, I love meeting people I grew up watching and telling them how much they mean to me. And
yeah,
I'm always telling them in California, because I go to Monsterpalooza all the time, and I go to a couple others. I always tell them to book, you know, people from the Friday the 13th movies if they're not booking them. You know, I tell them to book you and stuff.
Well, thank you so much, because it can be so much fun. It really can be. It's just something you kind of have to experience to understand them. And when you start getting to know people, it's not just all about being a fan. It's about what their careers are, what you can help them do, or what you can. Well, I mean, not all actors are coaches, and maybe take that point of view. But Karen Black, you know, from Trilogy of Terror. You know, Jessica Lange in the beginning, before people thought she was brand new on American Horror Story, all these kids. You know, I look back and, you know, I wanted to be those actresses that did stuff over a long period of time. And so going to the conventions, sometimes you can meet the actors that are ahead of you and longer, you know, have done longer careers. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's really, really neat.
Do you have any upcoming convention appearances or projects you want to plug?
I don't have next year's schedule yet.
Mm-hmm.
I had some emails about it the other day. I don't have the schedule, and I do have to move it around sometimes with teaching my classes. Pretty much just going to go to only a master's class next year instead of the multiple classes that I'm doing, and I do private consults. I don't really have that schedule yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just have to wait to see how that comes together. I did a film a couple of years ago that still isn't out, and we really wish it was. It's called Expulsion, and it's a science fiction film, and I really want it out. I've seen a couple of scenes from it. I liked them.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing a very, very scary. I made myself look very, very old, purposely. And when I remember, I posted a picture on Facebook, and no one made any comments. I said, "This is weird. Maybe we don't have internet." Oh, this is such a great picture. and I said something on it. I'm like, "You guys don't back here." And they're like, "Oh, thank God, you were trying to look like that." And I'm like, "Yeah, hello." Trying to do it. So it was really cool. So I would like to see that film come out, definitely.
Yeah, I was in Linnea Quigley's documentary last year, and I'm still waiting for that to come out. When she's been working on it for years, but hopefully it'll be out the next year or two. And I just auditioned for Deborah Voorhees' movie she's working on, 13 Fanboy.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some stuff on that. Okay.
Yeah, I would love to be in that movie because, I'd be in it with Kane and everybody from the series that's going to be in it,
Oh, that's cool. That would be really fun. Yeah, I would really like to do some more horror films. I've done all different kinds of roles, but I like a lot of different roles, and I like television too a lot. So I just like the schedule of it and everything. So.
So let me tell you my joke really quickly.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So Cinderella is about to go to the ball, and she's on her period, and she's the fairy godmother gives her these magic tampons and says, "You better be back by midnight, or else they'll turn into a pumpkin." And Cinderella says, "Okay, fairy godmother, I will." So 12:30 rolls around. Cinderella hasn't shown up. Fairy godmother's pacing around the house, and then around 2 a.m. Cinderella shows up, stumbling drunk, and fairy godmother's all, "Where were you? You were supposed to be home by midnight." Cinderella's like, "I'm sorry, godmother. I'm sorry, fairy godmother. I met this great guy. We danced all night. His name was Peter Peter."
Okay, that's good.
You could tell that one to your daughter.
I don't. Yeah, maybe she might get it. I don't know. That was good, but you're not writing a joke book, right?
I'm not writing a joke book, but I have lots of jokes. I've been a comedian for years.
That's fun. Well, you'll have to be sure and send me a link to this interview. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Yes. Lara.
I know all of y'all that put these interviews and things together. You work so hard to work with everybody's schedules, and I know we always have crazy schedules, so, you are appreciated on this side, too. But we know it's hard work on your side.
Oh, Lara, yes it is, but this has been a dream, and I'm so grateful, and it was worth the long wait, I have to say. It was.
Well, good. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you're healthy and maintaining your awesomeness, and I hope you have happy holidays. I just hope I get to meet you next year at a convention.
That would be great. It would be super great. So we'll just, put that out in the universe and then see what happens.
Yes, and maybe you can come back on and we can have a long chat about horror films.
Yeah, that would be super fun, wouldn't it? Or horrifically fun.
Okay, you have yourself a great day.
Thank you, and happy holidays to you, too. Have a good screaming day.
Oh, you too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Well, there you have it. Lar Park Lincoln. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you so much, Lar. You're an amazing woman. You have a great sense of humor, and you tell great stories. I thank you so much. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.